Good morning. This is Professor Charles Jeffries at Rainier Avenue Radio, and we're talking about the Dunning-Kruger phenomena. Dunning-Kruger phenomena is a social psychology term saying that stupid people tend to overestimate how intelligent they are. Stupid people tend to overestimate how intelligent they are. Think about the checkers champion entering the chess tournament for the very first time. But what made me think about this was a video I saw during the week. And after watching this video, after following this video, I thought to myself, is this guy stupid or is he ignorant? And I'll explain the difference after you see the video.
We must put America first. This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything. And now it's AI. We invented everything. Does anyone have anything else to say?
And my question is, the first question came up was, who's referred to when we talk about we? Okay, we invented everything. And when I went down his list, he talking about the light bulb and the telephone. Both the light bulb and telephone the patent was written up, and also was helped by an individual called Lewis Latimer. Okay, and I know we talked in the history books, Thomas Edison, the light bulb, and Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone. But in reality, both those projects were worked on by Lewis Latimer. You play first the same video.
What if I told you Edison's light bulb might never have worked without him? Lewis Latimer was born to formerly enslaved parents in 1848, but he didn't let that stop his brilliance. A self-taught draftsman and inventor, he worked with Alexander Graham Bell to patent the first telephone. Later, when Thomas Edison was perfecting the light bulb, it was Latimer who invented a carbon filament that made bulbs last longer and burn brighter. Without his breakthrough, electric light would have stayed expensive and unreliable. Latimer didn't stop there. He wrote the first book on electric lighting and held patents for innovations in air conditioning and railroad safety. Yet, despite shaping the modern world, his name is often left out of history books. Do you think pioneers like Latimer get the credit they truly deserve?
That's what I'm saying. Once again, was this guy, Trump, or people who say that, are they stupid or are they ignorant? I say the difference is ignorance is not knowing something, but stupid is not knowing something and don't want to hear anything. I know everything, but I don't want to hear it. And so we're looking at that. And so also, not only was the light bulb, if it hadn't been for Lewis Latimer, the light bulb wouldn't be working the way it was, but also some of these other systems too, particularly the internet search engine. And also, we're talking about technology for the cell phone. You play it next to.
Did you know? Alan M. Tage embarked on a journey that would change the internet forever. Alan, a student at McGill University, noticed the growing digital landscape and saw a need for a better way to find files online. Inspired by library cataloging systems, Alan set out to develop a program that could search for files by name. And in 1989, he introduced Archie, the world's first search engine. Users could remotely search for file names across a network of FTP servers. Alan's innovation laid the groundwork for future search engines like Yahoo and Google. His work shaped the digital landscape and made knowledge accessible at our fingertips. Alan's legacy continues to inspire us as we navigate the ever-changing world of technology. Alan M. Tage, a visionary who pioneered online information retrieval and changed the world forever.
In the realm of technological advancements, two names shine brightly: Henry T. Sampson and Jesse Russell. Sampson, an African-American inventor and nuclear engineer, revolutionized the world of communication with his invention of the gamma electric cell in 1971. This technology became a cornerstone for the invention of modern cell phones. Switching gears, meet Jesse Russell. Known as the father of the digital cellular technology, Russell's innovative work in the early 1980s propelled the evolution of digital cellular phones. His contributions have significantly shaped the way we communicate today. These two individuals, Sampson and Russell, have undeniably left their indelible marks on our digital landscape. Their stories inspire us to keep innovating, keep inventing, keep pushing boundaries.
Think about that. Okay, in terms of internet, search engine, and also what we call a cell phone. And think about the implication or the things that came after that. Now, Taj started his program before Google or before Yahoo. And the irony is he didn't make any money for it. He did it as a project for graduate school. Okay, but he still turned out okay. He's an engineer, he's doing fine financially, but either way. And you think about back to the cell phone technology. And man, think about how the evolution of the cell phone has changed a lot of cultural phenomena too. Particularly, we talk about police brutality. It started with back in the Rodney King situation where someone had taken a picture of the police officers beating on Rodney King, and now people have that technology in their pockets every day. So when you see situations like that, you bring them on. So a lot of these shootings, basically before would say, cops deny it, but now you can't deny it because somebody out there took a picture of it. And so in terms of the booming in technology, because these individuals starting out with a light bulb that worked more than a day or two, with the telephone, how people can contact us about a telephone, then taking that to the next level at the cell phone level, and search engines. Now you look something up, you go on the computer. All those were contributed by African Americans, yet this individual comes on and claims it. Okay, back to talk about Aristotle, the plagiarist. Okay, this is the president of the United States. He's either a plagiarist or he just doesn't know. In the next video.
She wasn't an astronaut. She wasn't a general. But Gladys West, a black woman mathematician from rural Virginia, quietly reshaped the world one equation at a time. In the 1950s and 60s, while segregation still ruled America, Gladys became one of the first black women hired at the U.S. Naval Proving Ground. Her task? To calculate the exact shape of the Earth, not a perfect sphere, but a complex, uneven surface we now call a geoid. Long before computers could process it, she did the math by hand. Those endless calculations, rows of numbers and formulas became the foundation for the global positioning system. The GPS that guides your phone, your car, even airplanes today. For decades, her name was missing from the history books. The world moved forward with her discovery and never knew who to thank. Then, in 2018, Gladys West was finally recognized and inducted into the U.S. Air Force Hall of Fame for shaping one of the most revolutionary technologies on Earth. So the next time your GPS gets you home safely, remember her name. Gladys West. The black woman who mapped the world before satellites ever could.
Did you hear that? She was calculating formulas by hand. This is before computers came out or Texas Instrument came out. And so once again, it contradicts the images that's being portrayed on African Americans as being illiterate, not able. Talking about mathematicians, you saw it's a different movie. The movie came out, Hidden Figures, whereas a group of African American women who were former teachers who went and helped the space landing come through. And so we're out there, but once again, the way the media hype is and the way this is coming down, we erase these people. And that's what we're talking about in terms of woke. Well, what is woke? Well, the opposite of woke is sleep. So basically, the woke movement is actually promoting stupidity. Okay, I don't want to know, and I don't know, and I don't want to know, and I can't look for any more information. But once again, we're talking, this is just proof that what this individual is saying is either wrong or that he's a plagiarist. So the next one.
Frederick McKinley Jones was a black inventor who transformed global transportation and food safety. In 1942, he received a U.S. patent 2,303,857 for an automatic refrigeration system designed for trucks and trailers. Before his invention, perishable foods spoiled quickly during long-distance transport. Jones developed a portable refrigeration unit that could be mounted on vehicles, keeping food fresh across long distances. His innovation didn't just improve grocery distribution. It became critical during World War II, allowing blood, medicine, and food to be transported safely to troops overseas. Because of this black inventor, modern refrigerated trucking and cold chain logistics became possible. Frederick McKinley Jones helped feed cities. He helped save soldiers. He changed transportation forever.
Think about that. Refrigerator trucks, okay, being able to transfer food to different parts of the country. I mean, think about, I could be in Ohio and eat an orange, okay, from Florida in December. Okay, why is that? Okay, refrigerator trucks. I remember when I was in Canada back in November, and I saw these fresh produce. I mean, like blackberries and cherries and peaches. Okay, and knowing that in Canada they can't grow those things in November, and how is it possible? Once again, through a refrigerator or keeping the products cool till you get it to the market. Okay, that's why you can go now and get fish from Alaska. Okay, pretty much the year round. Okay, because refrigerator, getting meat, steaks from Wyoming. Okay, to Texas. Okay, or getting certain products back and forth through refrigeration in trucks. So the contributions are immense. And also back to that GPS system. Once again, with a cell phone, and also within the cell phone, you have a camera, both a video camera and movie camera. You can also talk to somebody while you're looking at them. Okay, and also back to the GPS system. So the cell phone, imagine what the cell phone would have been like, or would even have a cell phone if it hadn't been for these individuals who they're trying to erase from history.
Imagine a world where traffic lights didn't exist. Chaos at every intersection. But thanks to Garrett Morgan, we don't have to. In 1923, this brilliant black inventor patented the 3-position traffic signal, adding a caution phase to make streets safer for drivers and pedestrians alike. His innovation became the foundation for the modern stoplights we use today, saving countless lives worldwide. But Morgan didn't stop there. He also created a life-saving gas mask, which was used by firefighters and even in World War I to protect soldiers. Garrett Morgan's genius shaped the world we live in. Next time you stop at a light, thank this extraordinary inventor.
Back to the stoplight. I mean, you see a stoplight every day. You don't think an African American had anything to do with that. But imagine what it'd be like without stoplights. Okay, and also back to the gas mask. He invented one of the most effective first gas masks that was used by the department. He grew up in Ohio. Okay, and basically, in terms of what Ohio's education system is really good, regardless of whether it's rated, but they have really good educational system compared to other states, compared to West Virginia, compared to Kentucky, compared to the education system is really strong. And the same thing goes with the school systems. With African Americans, we're going to integrated schools even in the 1800s in Ohio. Okay, so you think about opportunities like that. And also African Americans on test scores score higher than whites in the South. Whites in Alabama, whites in Mississippi, whites in Georgia, whites in Texas, African Americans score higher than them. And Lewis Terman discovered that when he put the first test, first IQ, translated IQ test to English. Okay, so think about all these inventions, but the space, in terms of the gas mask, okay, what that has enabled firefighters to be more effective, and even World War I. Okay, when mustard gas was used, okay, the gas mask. But once again, he didn't get credit for it. Okay, you have to watch a video like this, but you won't learn in school. And the thing is, the so-called anti-woke movement is basically trying to erase these individuals from these contributions. The next one.
When James Cornish arrived at Provident Hospital on the night of July 9th, 1893, his life was hanging in the balance. A stab wound to the chest had sent him into shock, and Dr. Daniel Hale Williams thought there might be damage to the heart. Armed with only his training and instincts, Dr. Dan, as he was called, would attempt something unprecedented.
The surgery lasts 6 hours. He is very much in experimental mode. It was a very crude operation, if you can imagine. You know, they had to saw the chest open, remove 2 of the ribs. One of the nurses faints during the course of the surgery. There are people watching him do this, and it had never really been done before, that you would actually touch and stitch a beating heart.
Hale Williams would sew up a gash in the pericardium, the sac around the heart, thereby completing the first successful open heart surgery. And just as important, he became the first surgeon to successfully open the chest cavity without the patient dying of infection.
The man was in the hospital for 51 days. He actually outlived Daniel Hale Williams. He went on to live 50 more years.
Even before the groundbreaking surgery, Dr. Hale Williams was a trailblazer. One of the few African-American surgeons in the early 1890s, he is also credited with another first.
There was a young woman named Emma Reynolds who was aspiring to be a nurse, and she'd been turned down by all of the nursing schools in the city because of her color. So it was at that point that Daniel Hale Williams pretty much had enough, because he knew about the conditions and the barriers.
Hale Williams founded Provident Hospital and Training School for Nurses in 1891, the country's first interracial hospital and nursing school.
There were very few African-American physicians, very few African-American nurses, and often African-American patients were barred from hospitals and the like. It's really a dark moment for Black Americans, if you will. And then Dr. Hale Williams is really quite a shining star at that moment.
A star that would shine even brighter with that daring surgery that would cement his place in history.
And this is just a fraction. This is a slice, a very small slice of the pie, or the amount of individuals of African American descent who make contributions to what we call modern society. Okay, in terms of, and so the so-called anti-woke movement, or war against woke, is doing everything they can to erase these individuals. Okay, erase individuals like Lewis Lattimore, which they've almost successfully done, at least in the school system. Erase individuals who gas masks, erase all these individuals, and then promote a fairy tale like history. Good news, Florida. Your judges in Florida ruled that teachers have freedom of speech. In other words, Florida declared a war on woke. I suppose you can find that article. Okay, Florida had probably a whole war on woke, and the judges, 3 judges, ruled that in favor of the college campuses, saying that DeSantis, who's governor of Florida at that time, does not have the right to tell teachers what to teach. Okay, this is really significant. This is a significant victory in terms of for educators. Okay, because we talked about before, educators have been under attack. The whole educational system has been under attack. Okay, for the past since Trump came into power. Okay, talking about he wants people to monitor. He wants to blackmail institutions like Harvard and Dartmouth and Yale and institutions like that, to where we're going to hold back your money if you don't promote our agenda. We're going to freeze programs out if it's, if it doesn't go against if it goes against anything we say. And so that ruling that took place, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday. No, it had been yesterday or Friday, where the Supreme Court at least in Florida, said no, DeSantis does not have the right to dictate what teachers can teach. I mean, Florida and Texas were two of the first states who basically have been attempting to erase Black history and also not take away funds from teachers or jobs even for teachers who taught the truth. Okay, so I keep going back on, you get tired of hearing this every episode. The war against woke is a war against truth. And so actually the anti-woke movement promotes stupidity. Remember stupidity, someone who is ignorant, but they don't want to learn. Okay, we have this whole mentality of anti-intellectualism. So Vimo, let's talk about support. This is a nonprofit institution, and so therefore we rely to a certain extent on donations. So Vimo at Rainier Avenue Radio or online at rainieravenueradio.world.donate. Today has a really exciting schedule coming up. 12:30 Clean Greens Living. Okay, it's the event that's coming up, and I think it's going to be really interesting event. And then show guest. Okay, I don't remember that one. And then 2:30 Real Estate and Money comes up. Real estate and money, people don't really understand, or a lot of our folks in particular don't understand, and that the anti-woke people don't want you to know, but real estate is one of the main ways to create generational wealth. Okay, it's really one thing it's a bit about Eddie Murphy. When he first made his first millions or made his first money off his movies, he bought a regular house in a middle-class neighborhood, put the rest of his money in the bank. Okay. On the other hand, some actors bought the biggest house in Oakland, 6 helicopters, 16 cars, and now he's broke. Okay. You think about the number of performers who broke, and because it comes down to lack of financial literacy. And so, like I mentioned before, real estate is one way to make that difference. You think about in terms, let's say if you bought a house, actually my uncle bought a house in San Jose in 1974 for about $70,000. He sold it in 2000 for almost over $1 million. So, okay, you think about, so real estate is one of those probably is going to go up. I mean, think about, if you're paying what you're paying now compared to what rent was then. Back when I first moved to Seattle, rent was $400 a month. Okay, imagine if you bought a house back then at $400 a month, you sell those payments, where now rent's $400 a month. You can't even get a room, or have a hard time finding a room. So that's why real estate is really important. So I highly recommend you folks attending that Real Estate and Money. Okay, you want to throw it out there with the one that's at 1 o'clock, the film, what is that? Phil Am. Okay, comes up. What's Phil Am? Filipino show. Oh, that came on last time. That's a regular. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. So definitely, you don't want to check that Phil Am program. So those are kind of the events that's going on. Like I said before, you can donate Vimo at Rainier Avenue Radio or online at Rainier World Donate. But let's go back over where I started at. Talk about plagiarism, taking someone's contributions or ideas and use them as your own. Remember, I talked about Aristotle. Okay, was a plagiarist, basically where he took all these works that the Greeks and everybody did and put his name on them. Okay, and now Donald Trump comes on and gives a speech about all these contributions that African Americans made: GPS system, workable light bulb, cell phone, the telephone, refrigerator system, the gas mask, first open heart surgery. All these things, once again, that make America great, but he doesn't give it credit for it. And basically, we're against diversity. Same thing. We don't want anybody to have anything or any credit except those of European descent. And in reality, those folks are plagiarists. Okay, they're taking information, putting their name on it, who gave and didn't give credit for the people who are doing these things. This really put me in a spin when I saw that, because the first, like I said, I watched it and I said, "Oh, this guy, Once again, does he know? I mean, someone who's does he know about these contributions of these individuals like Lewis Latimer and Armitage and all those, and Gladys West? Does he know about them and ignore them? Okay, or does he not know about them because nobody told him? Or does he, or even if someone did tell him about those contributions, how would he respond to it? Okay, of course, once again, almost every time this individual comes on and speaks, he's telling a lie. He's either lying or covering something up or deflecting. And that's generally what I've seen of a lot of your Trump supporters: lie and deflect, lie and deflect, lie and deflect. I'm gonna lie, and then if I can't lie my way out of it, I'm gonna talk about Joe Biden or talk about Obama. Okay, and you think about another aspect comes in as it relates to this is Trump and a lot of your megas response to the opening of the Obama library. And you think about that, all the presidents had libraries. So every president comes up, whether it goes back to the Kennedy, whether it goes back to Bill Clinton, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, every president has a library. And my question is, why is everybody only talking about Obama's library? I mean, why is he the only president who they don't want to have a library? But once again, you think about the people who are boycotting the library. They don't go to libraries anyway. Oh, we're not going to go to this library. Like Megan's saying, we're going to boycott the library. But you're not going to go anyway because they're functionally illiterate. Okay, and that's what you have in the states of Texas and Florida. We're going to erase these people's contributions, okay, and erase history and write our own version of history, which is actually a fairy tale. So, all right. Okay, it's Professor Jeffries. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you next week.